Hello everybody, my name is Masterofroflness and welcome to another Hearts of Iron 4 mod. This time around we're playing around with Kazakia Remastered, which is essentially a mod that adds in the Cossacks into Hearts of Iron 4, but makes them their own country and has like unique different national focuses that make them their own player in the world stage. Which is actually really cool. This is there's been a lot of work put into this mod actually, especially with the historical ways in which the Cossacks and largely the Russian monarchy were able to possibly, this is like, you know, obviously alternate history, possibly be able to regain control over the over Russia and the Soviet Union and all that shit. God, I have no idea what the history is actually with the Cossacks. I have actually not read much on them, besides the fact that they beat the shit out of the Ottomans, but I think everybody kind of beat the shit out of the Ottomans at one point. It seems like, you know, a schoolyard, traditional, growing of age sort of story. You beat the shit out of the Ottomans. You're usually pretty good. You're settled. Then all of a sudden you get your ass beaten by the French, and then it's kind of goes on from there and that sort of stuff. Anyway, so with this mod, the Cossacks are going to play a mostly passive role for a large part of it. You could obviously change this, so there are a couple different directions you can go into. You could support the Soviet government by, you know, becoming communist. Or you could support the Nazis and become an ally of the Nazis, and then you automatically fight the Soviets. There's also various ways that you could kind of stay out of the conflict until you, as a proud Cossack warrior, are able to get stronger and stronger, especially since they get buffs to their cav. So the logical thing to do if you're getting like stuff like, I don't know, plus 30 attack with all cavalry is to just like get more cavalry. And you know what, I did that. I basically built a bunch of cav and I had a wicked fun time. Large portion of this will just be me, however, clicking through panels until, however, the Civil War. And once the Civil War happens, then some crazy shit is going to go down. But you know what? That is civil wars in the most part. You know, honestly, once we switch over to a fascist government, things are a little bit easier for us. Because as you can see right now, initially, Cossacks are not really known for their military prowess. Especially since I have like almost zero manpower. So we're kind of not in a good state to fight anybody. Like anyone at all. But you know what? With the fascist dictatorship, we could get extensive conscription. We can be a little bit like more steady, like stronger, faster, maybe even bigger. I don't know. It's gonna be hard work, honestly. And I love how we're called a Don dictatorship. I don't know actually what Don stand for. Is Don like a government official? Is that like the top person? Is like Führer from Full Metal Alchemist or real life Nazi Germany? Führer. Did I pronounce it right? I have actually no idea. They've even made like a fictional country below that called Transcaucasian? Wait, what is that state called? Transcaucasus? I don't actually know. But regardless, so here you go, right over here where on the national focuses, and on the left side, I could have picked the Nazi Germany allyship focus, or I could just focus on my own endeavors, which is what I end up doing. And now we're into the Civil War, and a bunch of stupid shit goes down. First and foremost, there are three sides to the Civil War. There's myself, my good-looking green self, and then we got the pink guys over there, and then we got the blue guys over there. So I have to juggle between two of these fuckers, at the same time also building up forces to deal with the Soviets. Now, these guys go down whatsoever, no problem at all. You know, I have the cav, they don't have the cav. Who's in an advantage here? Me. However, I do lose a couple forces stupendously, which does annoy me to an extent. What I should have done in this battle was maybe redirect more of my forces to the weaker of the enemies, which was pink, obviously. But I decided to do like a very fair unilateral line. Eventually, though, pink is handled more and more swiftly, especially since I'm able to encircle his units, surround him, get the kill, and then once that happens, then it's just me and blue. Mano y mano. And blue, because I have the full might of my Don army, my Don dictatorship, I'm just able to squeeze him bit by bit. Really cool thing you can do in this mod is you get extra manpower bonuses for a variety of different national focuses. So if you own different like territories, you can just get like a boost in manpower because of these focuses. In fact, so a couple of them go to like 100,000 or so, which is, you know, if you get like a couple 100,000 national focus boosts, you can easily at least like hold your own against the Soviets until like Nazi Germany or someone a little bit stronger gets into play. And now it just becomes a case of me overrunning these blue territories. They've been completely splintered off to like 8 different locations, but eventually we're pushed out more and more and more, and then we're able to clean up this civil war. The civil war was probably the least bloody of the civil wars I've had to fight. So their capital is such a bitch, and they will not capitulate until I take their capital. But eventually I do. Kazakia is reformed, and I'm able to get onto the front line. And now I believe I am a... Am I a monarchy? I believe at this point I'm not aligned. Let me check. Yeah, I'm not aligned at this point. So I went from the regular old government to fascist dictatorship to not aligned. It was great. This is amazing. So I'm going down the national focus path to the to restoring the monarchy of the old Russian government, so the czars and all that shit. Just for funsies. Why the hell not? I'm gonna do it with Cav. I'm gonna do it entirely with Cav. Will I be successful in this? I'm not gonna really reveal that to you. That'd be like revealing the end of the movie. A really long, shitty 3-hour movie. And you guys don't want to see a really long, shitty 3-hour movie and then be spoiled by the ending. It's not even right. Not even remotely right. There will be a lot of build-up though. I gotta say, like, with Cav, I always assumed there was gonna be a lot more equipment being put on them, but literally no, you don't have to even like equip the Cav at all with anything besides a gun and support equipment. Just put a gun on the fucking horse. That's what I should do. That's what everybody should do. Like, I think in India, when cannons started becoming more and more popular, especially with the Mughals, they just put a cannon on the elephant, and then the cannon would fire, and then people would die. But then they go like, "Where's the cannon?" And then they go, "Oh, it's on the elephant. It's basically a gigantic tank." No, it is a tank actually. Elephants are like tanks in the ancient and every world besides our world today, the modern age, with, you know, actual armored forces. I definitely don't want to see elephant cav charge at like a military battalion. Though then again, with those Polish lancers, I suppose like anything is really possible. Alright, so now the fun stuff happens. Germany invades Poland. So World War II finally kicks off. And it's about like what, 1939? Okay. So with that happening, sooner or later, the Soviets and the Germans are going to go to war. And that's my plan. My plan is to wait a little bit, and once the right time happens, then Nazi Germany will invade, the Soviet Union, and I'll attack. And with the support of the, the state of Russia, which will come about with the national focuses, I'll be a god. Or, you know, just the crazy cav guy, I suppose. The crazy cavalry guy. Surprisingly, Kazakia does not have a lot of good stuff. Anyway, now we're the Russian Empire now. Boom. We are Russia now. It is over. And even though we only occupy a small province, we're the Russian Empire. It's fucking great. Soviets are going to be a little bit challenged by us. I'm not going to blame them. We're not on their side. We're on the Tsar's side. We're on somebody else entirely's side. It's crazy. We're gonna super dominate this, or maybe we won't. It'll depend, I guess. It'll depend on if horses can defeat tanks. Can horses defeat tanks? That's a good question. Has there ever been a historical example of a horse cav unit being able to take on an armored division? Has that ever happened? Like, oh, maybe there was just a lot more horses than there were tanks. Like eight horses to one tank. Can 8 horses take out a tank? It's like that age-old argument. 1 trillion lions versus like the sun. Who would win? And for me, I don't really know who would win in that argument. Like, can the trillion lions cover up the sun, and then by covering up the sun, will the sun slowly die? I don't really think so. The sun doesn't get energy from people looking at the sun. Or does it? Like, you know, in one of the American God books, the religions and the gods get more or less stronger or weaker depending on the amount of people worshiping them. Actually, that could be a different book series that I'm talking about. Am I talking about Sandman? No, I'm not talking about Sandman. But regardless, though, building more a cav and getting more bonuses. And the bonuses are now becoming more and more manpower focus. Now, one thing I should have done, and I didn't do, is that I didn't go after the Caucasian mountains or region or whatever. But regardless, though, Germany's finally coming into the Soviets, so now I gotta fucking pull down all my hatches, take off my pants and everything, and I gotta go after the Soviets. It has to happen. Germany is still dealing with the likes of the French, but the French are mostly dealt with, especially with Vichy France being finally formalized. One reason why I really should have done the Transcaucasian area, and I should have conquered that faster, is because there will be some trouble. Now, here's the thing. Once I get this national focus, I'll do Plan Siberia, and that should allow me to get further and further along this national focus path. And that will in turn create a power struggle within the Soviet Union. A really great power struggle. So I'm still just waiting, you know. The Germans can do their thing. I don't really care too much, you know. There seems to be problems with Italy because there is a giant pink speck over there. But Germany's doing fine with the Soviets, so that's good. They're getting there, you know, they're pushing along. I'm trying to get as many horses as possible, but shoot. I don't know how many horses I'm going to need. I'm going to need a fuck ton of them, actually, by the time I'm actually in proper military standing. I really fucked this up by not, like, getting enough military units. I really should have. But, you know, it's kind of like one of my mistakes in this one that ultimately kind of hurts me a little bit. And you know, what also hurt me was the fact that I went to infantry equipment 2, but then I didn't really properly upgrade to that. So finally, State of Russia is built up in Siberia, which is nice. And they're going to automatically be at war with Soviet Union. And I'm going to push in, and the Germans going to push in, and here we go. It's the State of Russia versing off against the Russian Empire. Oh, no. It's the Russian Empire and the State of Russia fighting with Nazi Germany. Not alongside them, like, as the same... you know, as the same faction, but definitely against the same enemy. So it's 3 opponents versing off against 1. And let me tell you, I already fucked up by not blocking off Crimea. So it's already, yeah, it's already downhill. Like, shit. I really fucked myself there. And, you know, my horse units aren't really that effective against the Soviet Union. The State of Russia already takes casualties like soon into the war, and it's already not looking good for me and for the State of Russia. Germany, I think, is doing just fine, especially since we're distracting him, but Germany's not advancing as hard as he should be. So, yeah. I do manage to push in a lot more than I should be. But at this point, these are my final borders. And I can't really stop their advance into the Crimea. I can't help them out I can't help out the State of Russia with their conflict. And unfortunately, there's no real national focuses for me to go to now. And with that being said, now I finally see the Russian forces over the Transcaucasian area. And it's pretty much over. I had my fun with the mod. It was very, very content heavy, especially with this one faction. But I gotta admit, if I didn't fuck up so bad with my military buildup and maybe a few other decisions, especially me not blocking off the Crimea, I would have been in a much better state. Anywho, my name is Masterofroflness. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.